friends, welcome to my channel 5 Minutes History. In this video, let's explore the history of the Pandyas, the oldest of the three Tamil dynasties of South India, the other two being the Cholas and the Cheras. Madurai, the capital of the Pandyas, is mentioned in the Kautilya's Arthashastra, written in 4th century BCE. Pandyas are also mentioned in the inscriptions of Maurya Emperor Asoka, Sangam Tamil text, as well as in the ancient Greek sources dating back to 3rd century BCE. The dynasty passed through two periods of imperial dominance, first from 6th to 10th century CE and then under the later Pandyas from 13th to 14th century CE, making them one of the longest ruling dynasties in Indian history. The Pandyas ruled extensive territories, at times including the entire region of present-day South India and northern Sri Lanka, through vassal estates subject to Madurai. The early Pandya chieftains ruled their country from the southern port of Porkai at the mouth of the river Tamraparni and later shifted their capital to the inland city of Madurai. From the ancient times, there were constant struggle for dominance among the three Tamil dynasties, the Pandyas, Cholas and Cheras, collectively known as Moovendars or the three crowned rulers of the Tamil country. The powerful chiefdoms of the three Vendars dominated the political, social and economic life of the ancient South India, with Pandyas being the most prominent of the three. The capital of the Pandyas, Madurai, was the most important cultural center in South India. But around 3rd century CE, the early Pandyas along with the Cheras and the Cholas were eventually displaced by the invading Kalabhra dynasty from the west. For next 300 years, Kalabhras were the masters of the entire Tamil country. It was in the 6th century CE that the Pandya kingdom was revived by King Kadungon, who is said to have decimated the Kalabhras. With the Cholas in obscurity, the Tamil country was divided between the Pallavas and the Pandyas, the river Kaveri being the frontier between them. From 6th century to 9th century CE, the Chalukyas of Badami, the Pallavas of Kanchipuram and Pandyas of Madurai dominated the politics of South India. During this time, the Pandya rulers greatly expanded their kingdom by conducting military campaigns against all their neighbors. King Sri Vallabh even sailed to Sri Lanka, subjugated the Sinhala ruler Senavan and sacked his capital Anuradhapura. But around 850 CE, the fortunes of the Pandyas declined again, when Vijayalaya Chola conquered Tanjavur and laid the foundations of the Imperial Chola dynasty. Parantaka I, successor to Aditya, invaded the Pandya territories in 910 CE and captured Madurai from King Marvarman Rajasimha II and adopted the title of Madurai Konda. The Pandya king fled into exile in Sri Lanka, his maternal home, and Parantaka I completed his conquest of the entire Pandya country. Pandyas later allied themselves with the Cheras and the Sri Lankans in giving resistance to the Cholas, but the Chola emperor Rajaraja I and his son Rajendra I continued to occupy the Pandya kingdom and even appointed a series of Chola viceroys with the title Chola Pandya to rule from Madurai. The Pandyan fortunes in South India were revived again by Marvarman Sundara I and his son Jatavarman Sundara in 13th century. Pandya power reached its zenith under Jatavarman Sundara Pandyan, who led extensive military campaigns against the Cholas, Cheras, Hoysalas and as far as Sri Lanka. Pallava capital Kanchipuram functioned as the second major city of the Pandyan Empire. Jatavarman Sundara Pandya's son, Maravarman Kulashekara, decimated the Chola power and also expelled the Hoysalas out of the Tamil Nadu. He plundered the Jaffna kingdom in Sri Lanka and came back with the relic of the tooth of Buddha. During the middle part of the 13th century, the Pandya kingdom was ruled by many princes of the royal line, with one prince asserting supremacy over the others. After Maravarman's death, his sons Veer and Sundara Pandya fought a war of succession for the control of the empire. During this time, Alauddin Khilji of the Delhi Sultanate was conducting military raids to plunder and loot South Indian kingdoms. When the Muslim armies learned about the Pandyan civil war, Khilji's general, Malik Kafur, marched to the Pandya territory in 1311. The kingdom was ransacked and immense wealth was looted. Subsequently, there were two more expeditions from the Sultanate under the Tughlaq dynasty. The family quarrels and the Sultanate invasions shattered the Pandya Empire beyond revival. The Tughlaq dynasty annexed the former Pandya dominions to the Sultanate as the province of Mabar, and Jalaluddin Hasan Khan was appointed governor of the newly created province. Jalaluddin later declared independence and created the separate Madurai Sultanate. From 14th century onwards, the Pandyas lost their traditional capital of Madurai and shifted to small cities like Tenkasi and Tirunelveli and continued to rule until the end of the 16th century. The rule of the Pandya dynasty is referred to as the golden period of art and culture in the ancient Tamil Nadu. According to traditions, the legendary Sangams or the assemblies of the Tamil scholars were held in Madurai under the patronage of the Pandya rulers. Historical Madurai was a stronghold of Shaivism. Following the invasion of the Kalabhras, Jainism gained a foothold in the Pandyan kingdom, but with the advent of the Bhakti movements, Shaivism and Vaishnavism regained prominence. The latter-day Pandyas were Shaivites who claimed to have descended from Lord Shiva and goddess Parvati. Pandya rulers made immense contribution in South Indian temple architecture. While early Pandya temples were rock-cut small temples, the latter temples were characterized by their massive vimanas, mandapas, gopurams, and finely sculptured idols. The magnificent Meenakshi temple in Madurai and Nalayyappa temple in Tirunelveli were built during the reign of the Pandyas. Pandyas had flourishing trade relations with the Greco-Roman world since the time of the Ptolemaic dynasty. As recorded by Strabo, Emperor Augustus of Rome received an ambassador from a Pandyan king in 367 CE. Pandya kingdom was known around the world for its pearls, and port city of Porkai was a great center of pearl trade. The art of coin making in the Pandyan dynasty used punch marking methods. They ranged from gold, silver and copper, depending upon the political influence of the time. Some of the earliest coins were square-shaped and were marked with elephant symbols on one side, while the later period coins were marked with fish, the royal emblem of the Pandyas.